Hello, and welcome back to Management and Information Processing, Management 3504. This is Dr. Maggie V. Voda, and I've prepared a PowerPoint for you today on group dynamics, power, and politics. Power is the ability to influence someone else. As an exchange relationship, it occurs in transactions between an agent and a target. The agent is the person using the power, and the target is the recipient of the attempt to use power. Because power is an ability, individuals can learn to use it effectively. Influence is the process of affecting the thoughts, behavior, and feelings of another person. Authority is the right to influence another person. It is important to understand the subtle differences among these terms. For example, a manager may have authority, but no power. She may have the right, by virtue of her position as boss, to tell someone what to do, but she may not have the skill or ability to influence other people. There are actually 5 different types of interpersonal power, according to French and Raven. Reward power, which is based on the agent's ability to control rewards that a target wants. For example, managers control the rewards of salary increases, bonuses, and promotions. Reward power can lead to better performance, but only as long as employees see a clear and strong link between performance and rewards. To use reward power effectively, then, the manager should be explicit about the behavior being rewarded and should be able to make the connection clear between the behavior and the reward. Coercive power is based on the agent's ability to cause the target to have an unpleasant experience. To coerce someone into doing something means to force the person to do it, often with threats of punishment. Managers using coercive power may verbally abuse employees or withhold support from them. Legitimate power, which is similar to authority, is based on position and mutual agreement. Reverent power is based on interpersonal attraction. The agent has reverent power over the target because the target identifies with or wants to be like the agent. This would be like charismatic individuals, Gandhi, maybe Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. Expert power exists when the agent has specialized knowledge or skills that the target needs. For expert power to work, 3 conditions must be in place. First, the target must trust that the expertise given is accurate. Second, the knowledge involved must be relevant and useful to the target. And third, the target's perception of the agent as an expert is crucial. So as you can see, there are actually various types of positions of power. This is French and Raven who created the theory. Reward power, coercive power, legitimate power, reverent power, expert power. Empowerment, passing decision-making authority and responsibility from managers to group members. Leaders' power and influence increases when shared with others. Group members with more power tend to accomplish more. Empowerment basically means trusting your employees. As a manager, this is very important. I will give you an example of an organization that actually uses empowerment quite a bit. The Ritz-Carlton organization actually enables its employees to spend up to $250 to make a guest happy. There is a story that goes through Ritz-Carlton, which is of a little girl that was leaving to go home with her family and was crying because she had lost her very favorite teddy bear. The employee, who was empowered with his $250, went to the gift shop and bought the little girl a gigantic teddy bear to replace the one she lost. Of course, the little girl was happy. It was a very kind motivation that the employee had. But more importantly, it's a very, very good example of empowerment. The nature of empowerment. Sprecher's psychological definition of empowerment. The meaning, value of a work goal evaluated in relation to a person's ideals or standards. Competence, individual's belief in his or her capability to meet performance requirement. Self-determination, individual sense of having a choice in mitigating and regulating actions. And impact, the degree to which the worker can influence strategic, administrative, or operating outcomes on the job. What is delegation? Delegation is assigning formal authority and responsibility for accomplishing a specific task to another person. It is a major contributor to empowerment. Without delegation, effective leadership and management cannot take place. To lead is to inspire and persuade others to accomplish tasks, not to accomplish everything by working alone. Now, there is a difference between delegation and micromanaging. Delegation is basically assigning an employee a particular responsibility, one that they're not going to do alone. They are the manager, they're very busy, so of course delegating is pretty commonplace in today's workplace. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about organizational politics. Organizational politics, informal approaches to gaining power through means other than merit or luck. Politics are played to achieve power either directly or indirectly. Leaders need political skill for such purposes as building alliance and gaining resources for their constituents. Political tactics and strategies. To make effective use of organizational politics, leaders must be aware of specific political tactics and strategies. The ethical political behaviors are aimed at gaining power, building relationships with upper management and employees, avoiding political blunders. Unethical political behaviors aimed at gaining power through devious methods. This, of course, is viewed negatively. Gaining power. You want to develop power contacts, control vital information, control lines of communication, do what the political environment demands, bring in outside experts, make a quick showing, remember the expectation of payback, always be politically correct, and be the first to accept reasonable changes. Building relationships. In order to build good, solid relationships, display loyalty. Manage your impression. Ask satisfied customers to contact your boss. Be courteous, pleasant, and positive. Ask advice. Send thank you notes to many people and flatter others sensibly, and I say appropriately, and genuinely. Political blunders. These are when mistakes are made. You criticize the boss publicly. You bypass the boss disregarding the hierarchical protocol. You decline an offer from top management, especially more than once. You put your foot in your mouth. You don't conform to dress code, or you write an embarrassing or incriminating email, messages, or Facebook post. Facebook post, and I will just comment on that particular topic. Facebook generally can be open to the public, or many people you don't even realize that can pass what you said on. Be very, very careful with your Facebook posts. Be even more careful with your email. Do not push send until you have read your email thoroughly. Not only are you checking for content, you're checking for grammatical errors. Your email can help determine whether or not you have any credibility, and you can lose credibility through a poorly written email. Unethical political tactics and strategies. They include backstabbing, to embrace or demolish, setting a person up for failure, dividing and ruling, playing territorial games, creating and then resolving a false catastrophe. These are games that just absolutely do not belong in the workplace. Exercising control over dysfunctional politics. Be aware of its causes and its techniques. Hire people with integrity. Implement shared goals amongst the firm and the human element in the firm. Encourage goal congruence. Set good examples at the top. Avoid favoritism and cronyism. And discuss questionable information in a public forum. Organizational power may be derived from many sources, including position power, personal power, ownership, dependencies, capitalizing on opportunity, managing critical problems, and being close to power. Full-fledged empowerment includes the dimensions of meaning, self-determination, competence, impact, and internal commitment. Delegation is an important part of empowerment. To acquire and retain power, a leader must skillfully use organizational politics. Political tactics and strategies may be either ethical or unethical. Carried to the extreme, organizational politics can hurt an organization and its members. On that note, I do hope that you enjoyed this PowerPoint presentation. Please remember again that this PowerPoint presentation was designed to enhance your reading from the textbook. Please be sure to read your chapters in the textbook, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.